Hey, up next on the Marmy Rock Show, man, a good friend of the Rock Show joining us again. It's been way too long since we talked with Ryan Patrick of Otherwise. Ryan, welcome back to the show, my friend.
Yes! What's up? How are you guys?
We are doing wonderful, and before we start, I want to wish you a kind of a week or so belated happy birthday.
Oh, man, thank you so much. Yeah, this birthday has been probably the best of my life, and it's pretty much still going, so it's like a month-long celebration.
So
thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, how'd you spend your birthday?
Well, I had a very, very wonderful company fly in and spend the weekend with me, and I went downtown to Las Vegas, did a couple ringside MMA fights the first night. Second night, had a cool show on the Strip to go to, and everybody, all the people I care about, plus many, many more people who care about me, they all sent their love, and I could feel it. So it was just really a wonderful birthday.
Hey, so we made a very exciting decision for us last night. We decided that we are going to fly out to Las Vegas on June the 3rd to go to the
Scars and Stripes, baby!
Yeah, you got it. So why don't you tell everybody about the Scars and Stripes Festival?
Oh, great. Okay, yeah, so it's the first annual Scars and Stripes Festival, and my brother and I are actually really fortunate enough to be a part of the team that brought the festival to Las Vegas. Jay Tavernese, our manager, and his partners, Preston Bonner, Lewis Cosby, they all were looking for markets to create this. They had this concept, and actually it was at NAMM last year that Jay and I were sitting at a bar, and he talks to me. He's like, we want to do this festival. I'm like, look, man, I'm looking to branch out in this business. We're looking to make moves. I can bring this festival to Las Vegas. My brother and I know enough people. Let's do this. And he's like, oh, okay. I'm like, well, once I get back to Las Vegas, I'll hit the ground running. We'll make some moves and make this happen. And we went through a couple venue spots and took a couple meetings, a couple site checks, and it wasn't working out. But then, thankfully enough, the downtown Las Vegas Event Center and a gentleman named Bud Pico over there was like, you know what, let's do it. Yeah, the price is good, the venue looked good, and then we're just locking up all the bands and making it happen, man. And thankfully, you know what, it was confirmed, and now it's been announced, and, if you book it, they will come. And it's pretty exciting to be not only performers on the stage, but also behind, the creative process of making this happen.
Yeah, man, we were spending some time last night with your friends in Lansdowne, and they've reminded us of the festival, so we're going to make the trip out there. So,
oh, that is freaking awesome, man! That is so awesome. That's such great news.
So it reminded me of your guys' tune Full Circle, because I'm reflecting back, and Vegas was the first time we ever saw you guys play. We didn't know who you were. It was 2011 at the 48 Hours Festival. Had no idea who you were, and you stepped on stage, and we've been fans ever since. Can you reflect back on that festival and what it did for the band?
48 Hours Festival? Absolutely. Yeah, that was probably, that was our first big foray into a national arena, and we got to get on that bill. It was like a very serendipitous, a strange festival, but at the same time, also a festival that changed our lives for the better. We opened up the main stage, and we really represented, to all these bands that were national and signed and rocking. We kind of let them know, like, hey, we're here too, and we're ready to go. And we had a great show, and that was actually that festival was the last time that I got to see my cousin Ivan Patrick. So shortly after that festival, he passed away, and shortly after that, Soldiers hit #1 on Octane, and we signed a record deal, and we started touring, and the rest is so far wise history.
Hey, so, I think the tune Crimson has something to do with your cousin, and I was just listening today. You guys released an album about 6 months ago, From the Roots Volume 1, and that tune's on there. Can you talk about that record a little bit?
Yeah, so last year, when we were regrouping everything, business, band members, our outlook on our own self, my brother and I, and our career, we're like, you know what, let's do... in the meantime, while we're writing the new record, while we're making the new sounds, let's do an EP just to kind of feed, those who want our music, feed the fans, feed the wise ones. So we came up with this idea of like, look, let's redo some of our songs from True Love Never Dies and Peace at All Costs, and let's do it acoustic, like from the roots, like how me and my brother started. We started with our acoustic guitar and just his vocals. So we worked with a guy named Ryan White Maloney, who was on The Voice. He's a good friend of ours. He's an amazing producer out here. He has a recording studio called True North Recording Studios, and he did the 5-6 songs for us. And we added a little bit of Bayou, a little bit of blues, you know. So it was like backyard on the porch, looking out, you know, drinking moonshine and sitting near a swamp. That was kind of like what the From the Roots Volume 1 was all about. And we were lucky enough to have like such good relationships here in Las Vegas. We worked with a guy named Brian Lindsay, who's now the president of Red Rock Casino. And he actually set us up with a 6-month residency at Sunset Station to play these acoustic renditions of our songs. And it was considered to be when bands are not touring and they're not making albums, that can be considered a low point for the band. But thankfully, you know, our network and our support system just it kind of moved the focus and shifted what we were doing. And you know, 2016 was a year of like rebuilding and regrowth, and now 2017 will be a year of retribution when this next album comes out.
So you mentioned, you know, retooling things, and you know, we know Tony's
redemption. More so redemption, actually.
So, hey, we know Tony's a part of the lineup now. Do you guys have a permanent drummer in the lineup? Because a lot of folks may not know him.
Absolutely, yeah, we do. His name's Brian Medeiros.
And how did you and Brian connect together?
We met him. He actually was a fan of the band years and years ago, and he actually auditioned for the band, let's see, in 2010 when we were looking for a drummer then. And he was like 18 or 19 years old, and he was good, but I needed a guy in Las Vegas and a guy who was, into circuit, and that's when we met our previous drummer, Corky, and we played with him. Brian was a runner-up then, and then when it was announced that the drummer position was going to be open, Brian reached out and was like, hey, guys, what's up? You know, I've been in Utah doing my thing. He sent out a couple videos, and we're like, man, this kid is now his mid-20s, and he has gotten so much better. And it's like, you know what, dude, I remember you. I remember when you auditioned the first time. And pretty much watching his videos and watching him play some of the Otherwise songs, it was like, it was right in the pocket with what we were trying to do. Like, you got the gig. So come out here and start jamming with us, and we'll see what happens. And so he did the Zach Wild run with us. We did a quick little tour last year in like August. And then this year when we went to record the album, he played the drums, and he just knocked the drumming out of the world, man. Like, out of the park. His drumming on this new album is something spectacular that my brother and I have been looking for a long, long time. So he's definitely a permanent member of the band.
Hey, man, so I want to congratulate you for being an uncle on the second time. So how's Daddy and Baby and Mama doing?
They're doing great. My brother's up in upstate New York right now, and it's pretty amazing. I'm like, man, you're a baby-making machine, bro. You know, and he's making a beautiful family, and we're hoping to, make sure that their college funds are nice and fat when this album comes out.
Hey, so our radio show, an awful lot of shiprockers listen to the show, and I'm remembering going back, like, I guess about a year and a half ago, watching the Super Bowl on the second deck of the boat with you.
Yeah.
Can you reflect back a little on that experience and what you thought of it?
Are you talking about when I sliced my head open and kept rocking out? Because I still have that scar, and I see it every day, and it's probably one of the best memories ever. But, the whole experience, I cannot wait to get back onto the boat. I know it's going to happen. We were going to be back on. They were just saying, look, get new music out, and we'll see you on the boat. We're like, okay, cool. Let us focus on getting our album done, putting all our energy towards that. And, Shiprocked, it was so crazy eating sushi at one of the restaurants, and Fred Durst is sitting like 2 tables over from me. So I buy him a sake. I have the waiter send him over a sake, and, Fred sees the sake come by, and I just wave and give him the rock and roll fingers. And then, 5 minutes later, he sends over 3 bottles of sake and waves back at me. And it's just like, this is really going on with Fred Durst right now. Like, regardless of what anybody thinks, that guy is one of the pioneers of new age metal and rock and roll, and that it would just to be a part of it with our boys at Seven Dust and watching Zach Wild and hanging out on the beach. Like, it's one of the greatest experiences as a modern day rock and roll fan. We can't wait to be back on it.
Hey, I see you've got a number of June dates, and they're mostly out west, so a lot of us on the East Coast have our fingers crossed. Any hope for 2017, seeing you guys out on the East Coast?
Oh, you better believe it. You know it. There's no way we can't be out there. We have to see you guys. We have to play. That's where, like, some of our most passionate and loyal fans are. There's no way we would hold out and not be out there. As soon as this album comes out, man, I'm telling you, we are going to be touring like crazy. We should have a single ready here in the next few months, and I'm getting playbacks right now. I'm getting rough mixes, and all I can say is that I've been waiting for this sound of Otherwise for a very, very long time, and we're coming out swinging. We're definitely coming out swinging.
Hey, it's interesting you say we've been waiting for a long time. We've just passed the 10-year anniversary of the self-titled 2006 release. Do you ever go back and listen to that record and kind of reflect on where you've come from?
What's funny is I get reminded of that record a lot. Like, fans will be like, "Oh, listen to this song, listen to that song." I'm like, man, and I listen to it, I'm like, not to toot our own horn, but I'm like, damn, we were good. Like, dude, this stuff is really good. Like, I was like, let's see, 2006, I was graduating high school. I'm like, man, we actually, it makes sense that we were and still are one of the biggest bands in our hometown of Las Vegas. And yeah, I actually want to go back in. Now I hear some of those songs, and I'm like, there's money in these songs. Like, I want to, like, redo these now with the knowledge and the experience that we have, with songwriting and just where our band has gone. I actually want to kind of tap back into some of those songs and re-release them.
And man, a lot of your fans will be looking forward to that a whole lot. Now, I remember catching you up in Rhode Island one time. I caught you in the middle of your workout routine, and you were showing me how to use some kettlebells and stuff. Are you still hitting the workout circuit hard? And I know I always see you posting from like these kind of healthy looking places.
Yeah, no, I just go to the spot and I check in, and then I go to In-N-Out Burger, or I go to the buffet. I just pretend to go to the gyms so that it looks cool. No, I definitely, I have a tendency of pushing myself a little too hard sometimes, but I've recently, yes, to answer your question initially, I absolutely am training. I love wrapping my hands up. I love hitting the bag. I love getting punched in the face and trying to not get punched in the face and lifting heavy weights. That's kind of how my brother and I are. We're pretty aggressive dudes. We were jocks in high school, but also artists, and we keep that alive. There's aggression in our music. There's adrenaline in our music, and but recently this year, I've been able to reincarnate my yoga practice, and that's been something that's been really, really spectacular for me physically. So a lot of yoga and a lot of boxing and a lot of push-ups.
And I'm going to be embarrassed if you point one out that was in the set all the time, but I'm going back listening. I don't really ever remember you guys throwing a cover tune in your set. Have you ever thrown one in there that I'm not thinking of?
No, you're right, man. Since we signed, I don't think we've ever, at radio we did a few acoustic covers. We did like Rebel Yell back when we first hit the scene. We did Rebel Yell by Billy Idol, and we did Enjoy the Silence by Depeche Mode. But we've never actually thrown in a cover for our live electric set. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, has there ever been like, on one of the long rides on the bus, has there ever been like a discussion? Has everybody ever thrown one out that you're like, maybe?
Oh, absolutely. You know what? We were in LA every single day driving to the studio and coming up with different ideas for covers. But when the time is right, there's so many songs. When you listen to a wonderful, great song, you're like, damn, I wish I wrote that song. And then it's like, why don't we cover it? And it's like, okay, maybe, but when the time is right and it's we'll definitely have a cover in our set when the time is right, and just know that cover is going to be badass.
So, hey, one more thing. Is the plan for the band to continue on as a 4-piece, or are you guys thinking down the road you might add one more guitar player?
I'm not sure. That's something that, like, I sometimes lose sleep over, because I always, for True Love Never Dies, Peace at All Costs, and now this new album, I've always written the guitars, the lead and the rhythms. And I think that I love the four-piece dynamic and the energy of the four-piece, but I have a tendency of writing so many guitar parts. So I have to come to terms with, like, hey, maybe I will have some of my own parts on tracks so that we don't lose the sound, considering that I've written and played everything myself. But then at the same time, it's like, maybe I'll get a guitar player to play my parts for me. I'm not sure. But as of right now, I love the dynamic as a four-piece. And if we do want to bring anybody on, it might be a keyboard player, because we like to experiment. We're not your typical active rock radio band, and we like to experiment with different genres and different styles. So I'm not really sure yet. That is a question that, especially when we start playing these new songs live, I'll have to decide. We'll have to decide once we know what it sounds like. But that's definitely a question I ask myself sometimes too.
Well, hey man, Ryan Patrick of Otherwise, we miss you guys. We have had a great time talking with you today, and I can't wait to fly out in June and see you guys at that big festival, the Scars and Stripes Festival out in Vegas.
Oh, it's gonna be righteous, man, and I'm really excited for you to hear the new Otherwise, new and improved 2.0 type music, and this album is gonna be really wonderful. The synergy of this album is probably the best that it's ever been in my brother and I's career. So we're really excited to share that energy with everybody.
Hey, Ryan Patrick, man. Ryan, thanks a lot for being on the show tonight.
Oh, man, I really appreciate it. I miss you guys, so I really look forward to seeing you in June.